Hey everybody, my name is Anita and I'd like to welcome you to the Honey Hive. Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Honey Hive. Thank you so much for joining us. If this is your first time, my name is Anita. Nice to meet you. So here at the Honey Hive, we like to celebrate, uplift, and encourage Black women. And today, I am so excited to introduce you to one of my very good friends. She is a licensed marriage and family therapist. She is a Howard graduate, and we are going to be talking about just different ways to stay sane in this pandemic and beyond. And then also some self-care tips and also anything that has to do really with mental health. So please help me welcome Jasmin Carnelus.
Thank you.
Yes, I'm so excited for you to be here. But before we continue, I want to wish everybody a very Merry Christmas. Yay! I hope that you got everything that you desired, okay? But also I hope that you were able to spend time with your family and connect in some type of way. We are still locked up in the house. Locked up. Right? But we're gonna make the best of it. Okay, so today I want to talk about mental health. But before we really get into the deep dive of it, because mental health is a very serious topic, and I wish that we could normalize it, you know what I mean, and take away the stigma, especially within the Black community. So the goal for me today with this episode is really to bring some tips, right, to bring some awareness, but also to laugh and have fun, because I feel like when people think about therapy, they just go straight to like, I'm laying on somebody's couch, right. I'm telling my life story, and this person is all up in my business, which is true.
Right.
Okay.
You just might not be on the couch.
Right. Right now, you may, but you're gonna be on Zoom.
Right.
Okay.
You might be on the couch.
Or you may be in your bed.
Yeah.
Because Zoom got the fancy backgrounds now.
I mean, but really at this point, you just don't see the bed.
Right.
Like, that's where I am.
Yes, under the covers.
Yeah.
Okay, help me, please. So that's what we're doing today, you guys. And also, please make sure that if you have any comments or even your own self-care tips to share with us, make sure you leave them down in the comments below. We are also going to be giving some different outlets for self-help, and then also for you to be able to connect with a therapist if you're looking for a therapist, ways that you can connect in the description box, and we'll have links for you as well to click. So, hey girl, hey.
Hey.
Hey. Okay.
It's early, girl.
It's early, but listen, we're gonna be all right.
Yeah.
We're gonna be all right. Merry Christmas again.
Same to you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Listen, I hope that you are ready. I don't think you're ready, but I hope you're ready.
For the jelly.
I don't think you're ready for this jelly. Okay, no, seriously. Because let me tell y'all a little secret. Okay, we did this already, right? And the devil tried to steal our episode. But he didn't stop us. Okay, so this is round 2. We're back and better.
Yes.
Okay, and we are going to just have fun. Okay, now mental health, therapy, all of those words, right, when they are floated within the Black community, I feel like there is a air of like, I don't need that, I got Jesus.
Right.
Which you should.
Yes.
Amen. But I also feel like it's important that you do some work.
Absolutely.
Because that's what the scripture says. Faith without works is dead. So I feel like therapy is just another form of work to get us into a better space. And also I feel like it can help our walk as well, because it's helping us to kind of alleviate and expose and, get those things off our chest to someone who can give us practical tools as well.
Right.
So for you, what do you think about having someone kind of be in a space of like, therapy isn't for me? Like, I don't really need it, you know, it's not my thing. What do you say to somebody?
Well, the first thing is like, I think because you can't see mental health, right? You can see symptoms of it, but if I broke my leg, you can tell. Right. Like, anybody can just see that. And so I think because it's more tangible, like physical health is more tangible, people are more likely to go get help for it. And like, oh, I need you to set my leg. I need you to, you know, clear up whatever I got. But with mental health, it's like, it's invisible for the most part. Yeah. So I think that has a lot to do with why people are like, what? I don't need that. And yeah, you're right. You can have the Lord. Everybody got the Lord. Come on. Or something. Hello. But when you go to the doctor and they say, oh, you have cancer, you're not going to be like, well, I'm going to just pray about it and we're going to be good. You're going to say, okay, I'm going to pray about it. And also, I'm going to do what this doctor is telling me. If I need to change my like eating habits or, you know, exercise habits or whatever. So those things work together. Right. And so when people say therapy is not for me, the first thing I say is, have you ever been? Most of the time they say no. Right. They only know like a story that they heard on TV or like somebody else went to therapy. And I'm like super honest with them. Like, you know, some therapists might not work for you, and that's okay because we're all human, even your therapist. Right. So it's really trial and error. Yeah. You might connect with them. They might not connect with you, and that's fine too. Yeah. So, you know, if you had a bad experience or if you have no experience in therapy, just give it a try. And also I tell people, if you walk into it saying like, this is not going to help me, it's not going to help you. Yeah. Because, you know, a lot of the things that we do, I don't want to say it's mind over matter, but your belief in the efficacy of it. Come on, SAT. Okay. Hey. I didn't do that. Okay. But your belief in its ability to work, it will work. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that's kind of what I say to them. There's a lot more depending on who I'm working with and what they're coming in for, but I do hear that quite often. And it's just, I sometimes I gotta catch myself because I'm like, you know, when you're married, right? I am. Praise the Lord. Hey, husband. Hey, Rico. So when you guys are having a conversation and you're like, I just don't see what you're talking about. We're not here. You can pray about it, yes. Right? Yes, which I do. And also, you need to be able to know how to communicate with your partner. Yes. And that means when he's talking, am I listening to just respond? Right. Or am I listening to understand what he's saying and then give a thoughtful response? That's good. So it's like you have the prayer piece, like, Lord, please don't let me choke him out right now. Hello? And then you also have the practical side of, okay, well, what is my intention when I'm responding to him? Yeah. Or do I feel myself getting riled up? How do I know I'm getting riled up? Do I need to take a 5-minute break to go pray? You know? So they definitely work hand in hand, but I see it a lot, especially with, I would say not older, just older than us. Yes. That they have the Lord and that's all they need. I love that because I think also when you brought in marriage, I think that's with any type of relationship, honestly, when you're having a problem or a disagreement, whatever the case may be, and you really are trying to listen to the person, but you might be in your feelings at that moment. And you might not want to hear what they have to say, you know what I mean? Or even vice versa. They may not want to hear what you have to say at that moment. And I think therapy, like you said, bringing in those practical tools, that's something that I need. Now, full disclosure, you guys, I am in therapy. Okay? I do have my own therapist. It is not her, because that's unethical. Yes, that's not right. But even though I do talk to my friend,
I think that it's important that we also have people in our lives who are unbiased, who don't really know us like that, who don't really know our, family history and things like that. Like, it's cool to talk to mama and big mama and, your best friends and stuff like that, but I think that it's even more important to have someone in your corner who can really pull your coattail.
Right. Let me add on to that, because people say all the time, like, oh, I have my man, I have my girl, like, I don't need a therapist, I got my friends.
No.
Even with me as a therapist, they're like, oh, I have you.
Like,
actually, you don't have me.
That part.
But, when people know you, their perspective is different because they want what's best for you.
Yes.
They may not challenge you in the same way.
Yes.
And also, I think there's this, I don't want to call it like a disconnect, but it's like a level of separation when you're talking to somebody who doesn't really know you.
Yes.
And so they're looking at your life from like above.
Yeah. That bird's eye view.
Right. Whereas everybody else in your life is looking at it straight on. The same view as you.
Yes.
And also, depending on who you got the issue with, right, you can't really be like, so, mom,
you get on my nerves.
You get on my nerves, and I kind of want to fight you right now.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I mean, you could. People do.
But do they live?
I don't know. Because I think Jerry Springer went off the air, so.
Okay, hello?
Because they do that a lot.
But it's still on the air.
It's still on the air.
In case you hear an extra voice, that's my girl, Kristen Brown. Okay, hey girl. She's here. But yeah, so I love that because I think that we tend to just stay in our circle. We tend to stay in our bubble. And I say we because, you guys, honestly, I'm fairly new to therapy. So I still kind of have my, do I really want to talk about that? Do I really want to go there? But I think what I'm learning is therapy really is about you. Like, and your experience and your kind of perspective in the sense of how and why are you responding that way. It really has nothing to do with the other person or the people, to a certain degree, right?
Yeah.
But I think that, at least for me, I find that after the sessions or even in the sessions, I'm having connection pieces to things that may have happened, years ago, and then now it's still coming up, but in a different way, right? And so I think that's important too. I really want you guys to understand that therapy isn't voodoo.
Not at all.
Okay, it's not like some dark magic or anything like that. It really is a self-reflection piece. It's really about looking within. And here at the Honey Hive, I want to be able to give you guys the information and the ability to really take a self-reflective look at what's going on, what's happened, and why you may be responding the way that you are. So I think that it's really important that we have this conversation, but also make it so it's not something that's this like deep, dark secret. I feel like people also, when they are in therapy, they kind of say it like, well, I'm in therapy about it.
Right.
Like they're not very like proud or happy almost, especially, and I'm speaking because I live in a Black family, right? So I'm speaking from that perspective. I can't speak for any other, perspective, but in the Black community, it has been something that has been like kind of pushed to the back burner or covered up or, like I said, in secret. And I think that we have to get in the habit of like boldly and proudly saying like, no, I'm working on myself, and that's okay. You know what I mean? And I don't have all the answers. And that's where someone like you comes in. So when you have someone who kind of comes and talks about like the things that they've experienced and the things that they've gone through, what kinds of tips do you give them to kind of maybe do like self-care or like self-reflection and things like that, like journaling or anything? Like, do you give them any types of tips like that?
I do. It depends on the person because journaling is not for everybody.
Right.
Like that word gets thrown around a lot, but it might not be your thing.
Yeah.
And also, but I am big on writing, so not necessarily journaling.
Okay.
But I'll tell people, if they have what I would consider an irrational thought, right?
Okay.
So it's like, if I go drive my car or if I go to the grocery store because I need groceries,
right,
I'm gonna get the Rona.
Okay.
Right. Now, it's not super irrational just because of where we are right now.
Right.
But what is the likelihood of that happening if you're social distancing, if you're wearing a mask?
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
If the store has a limited capacity. So I will have them write out their thoughts.
Okay.
And just say, you know, what's the likelihood that this event will happen? And they're like, well, probably like 50-50. And I'm like, okay, well, what happens if you're on the 50 side that gets it? Like, then what does that look like? What happens if you're on the 50 side that doesn't get it? Is this something you have to do? Is there any way around it? Can you Instacart or whatever? So it's like really breaking things down, because a lot of times we have stuff in our heads, right? Your brain is an interesting place.
Okay.
And when you have thoughts, they kind of just swirl around and they get big and they attach to other things, and then it's like super overwhelming. So I'm like, okay, put it on paper. Look at it on paper.
Yeah.
That's like a tip that I give to everybody, because I think, you know, for the most part, most people that I see at least have, you know, they have deadlines and they have anxieties about certain things. So I'm like, all right, well, if you have to do this and this and this, which one comes first? Because sometimes you can't even get to point C until you get to point A. But you're so worried about D and E and F and G.
Is your brain?
I could be.
Come on.
I could. Maybe I missed the calling. So
that's the
you're so worried about point G that you haven't even begun.
Right.
And so writing it and seeing it on paper, you're like, oh, well, first I should probably put my shoes on.
Yeah.
I can't go to the grocery store without the shoes.
Yeah.
They're gonna put me out the store.
Yeah.
So it's like, all right, so you see that on paper, you check that off. And I think that helps people to see the reality of certain situations, or like calm their anxieties.
Right.
There's a lot more.
Yeah.
Right. That goes into it,
right. I think the important thing also for you to know is that, you know, we aren't here as like legitimate experts, right?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
I play.
I mean, I will not disrespect the degrees and your knowledge
my name.
Okay? Put some respect on Jasmin Carnelus.
She shut it down quick.
Didn't she?
I didn't mean it like that.
Listen, honey.
Let me just say, I am always learning. I don't know everything no therapist does.
Right.
Right?
Yes.
But I do have training.
I appreciate
Other
it.
therapists, we do have training.
Yeah.
Right?
Get me together. Get me together. Okay, listen. Well, I won't pretend that I am an expert at this, okay? I'm just giving you guys my perspective and the things that I have experienced, and I bring on someone who can talk about it a little bit more and with some more experience than me. So, okay, we are here. I love it. But okay, so now writing it down, that's actually a really good tip, which I feel like I sometimes do a little bit, but like you said with journaling, I kind of fall off. Yeah. Right? You know, it's like hit or miss for me. Like my self-care stuff is like coloring, maybe a little glass of wine, classical music or something, you know, just to turn my brain off. But I really like that tip, because I too kind of sometimes get into that anxiety mode of like, oh, what do I have to do? You know, and you forget, like, hold on. Start at step 1, right? And step 1 takes you to step 2,
right?
And step 3, and then before you know it, now you on the other end, and you're like, oh, I was tripping for nothing,
right?
You know? And so I really like that, and I hope that you guys kind of implement that too, if you're not already. Writing it down and really looking at it, you know, on paper, which I feel like also kind of does something to your brain too. When you see it, it's like, oh, okay, it's not as bad, or like it's not as overwhelming.
Right. And also, you know, whatever you have going on, asking yourself, like, okay, what needs to be done today?
Yeah.
And what can be put off until tomorrow?
Yeah.
Or what can be done next week? So, you know, when it comes, right, we're in the pandemic.
Hello.
As I call it, the panorama. We're in the panorama. And,
okay.
Right, we're in the panorama.
All right.
And so, finances, I think for everybody, if they haven't changed, you've definitely been thinking about them a lot more because this is a time that has shown us, like, we are not in control at all. As much as we like to think that we are, there's very little that we do have control over other than ourselves. And so when you're thinking about like bills and groceries and Christmas is coming up, so you're like, I gotta buy a gift for this person.
She means Christmas is here.
Right. Yes. Christmas is here.
That's hilarious.
So, you're probably thinking about, oh, I gotta get this, you know, rent is coming up, is due on the 1st, and blah, 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 blah.
Right.
So when you're writing things down, you're like, okay, well, maybe I can pay this bill right now, and then, you know, maybe I don't need groceries today. I can hold off until whatever. So I think prioritizing too.
Yeah.
And not in your head, because your head is just, I don't even know.
Yeah. And I mean, I also feel like, because like you said, with your thoughts and them being in your mind, they attach to other thoughts and then they snowball into other things. And I've always heard like the mind is the devil's playground. So, or idle mind, right, is the devil's playground. So with you kind of thinking about whatever thought it is, or even for instance, if someone's upset with you, or you think that someone's upset with you, and so now you are putting your own thoughts and emotions on their feelings before you even really talk to them. And then once you do talk to them, like, oh man, I was like really hyping this for no reason. Like this person is not even really tripping.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I feel like that's something where writing it out is really super important. And it's also, I think it's something that you can implement with anything. Yeah. You know, so that's great. So now, what does Jasmine do for self-care? What do you do?
It has changed since the panorama.
Okay.
Pandemic. The pandemic, I know the word. But
panorama is like wide view.
That's what I thought.
I know, but I don't know.
Okay.
She just want to be
That's
cute.
self-care.
Yeah. Or like I call it a pandemica or whatever. But normally for self-care, like for big self-care, I travel.
Yes, we do.
We do. We be traveling.
Okay, give me an island and a beach and a cute little cocktail.
That's not the same. I'm sure there's like differences, but
I mean, because there's a beach on the island, right? Like you got sand and stuff. Is that considered the whole thing? Is a beach?
I think it's all the same.
I don't. Whatever. Give me an island and a cocktail with a little umbrella.
Virgin cocktail. This is for the Lord. No.
He turned water into wine.
Every day of my life.
Woo. Oh, okay.
Well,
self-care.
Now, we would normally be traveling.
Yes.
I already had to cancel the trip this year.
Yeah.
So, and then even the movies, that was self-care to me because...
Yeah, girl, you stayed in the movie theater.
I did. Now, I'm a therapist. I talk to people for a living. I listen to people for a living.
Yeah.
But sometimes I don't like talking.
I get that.
Okay.
I get it.
So, in the movie theater, you can't talk to me.
Right,
so I can just go in my movie sweater. Right? I have a movie sweater. Because y'all know it gets chilly in there. So, yes. Yes.
I mean, I can't really talk because I'll be going with like the whole kitchen because I'm not paying for all that.
Oh, she brings
meals. Wait a minute. This is not about me.
Okay.
This is your self-care.
movies.
Yes.
Right? So
Uh-huh.
now I still can watch movies. It just
Okay.
looks a little bit different. I don't wear a movie sweater. I have a movie blanket at my house.
Come on.
So that's my time where it's like, okay, I'm gonna get the popcorn.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna focus on this movie.
Yes.
Because in a movie theater, you wouldn't be on your phone. You shouldn't be on your phone.
Right.
Because people do it all the time. But, you wouldn't just be holding a whole conversation.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, I'm going to pay attention because I want to be engaged in this film.
Yes.
So that's one thing that I do for self-care. Another thing is just taking walks outside.
Okay.
On the track or around the neighborhood.
Okay.
Because the gym's closed, I think.
Yeah.
At least here it is.
Yeah.
So,
they're probably still gonna be closed until next year.
well, I mean, at least in like California.
Yeah.
I don't know about other states.
Yeah.
But like walking, getting fresh air, even though you're wearing a mask, but it's fine. Getting fresh air, getting your vitamin D and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And just getting out of my environment is good for me.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's something. Listening to music. Sometimes I take drives because I have the luxury of working from home right now.
Hey.
So I'm not spending as much money in gas. I'm like,
Yeah.
I ain't got gas to blow. Drive to Tijuana real quick.
Not too.
So, I mean, I have driven far,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
Maybe not all the way there, but
I
I'm
like Malibu for the view.
How did I get here?
Yeah.
I tend to drive south
Oh, okay.
versus west because people on the west side, they are not in a pandemic.
they free.
It's like the traffic is like not
Yeah.
reflective of a global health crisis right now.
I feel that.
So,
I get that.
yeah, I don't really go
Yeah.
west, but so I will color sometimes and just listen to music. Sometimes it's just being on FaceTime or Zoom with friends, like uninterrupted time. We have FaceTimed a lot.
We
Like,
have.
I'll be like,
Listen.
now we've been friends for a long time,
We have.
but she has never FaceTimed me as much as she has. And I'm not complaining, but I'm
Hey.
just like, it makes a difference when you can't like readily see somebody. Like if I'm near
because
you,
I be missing y'all. Okay.
if I'm near your house, I'll be like, oh man, like I kind of want to pull up on Anita.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, oh, I didn't bring my mask, or oh, I don't look presentable, because sometimes I don't, because no one's gonna see me.
But also where I live, it's not really like a pull up type of situation
Yeah,
because
no.
the parking is horrid.
I mean, you could double park and wave from
True.
the window, but that's it.
True.
So,
True.
Self-care though really can be anything
Yeah.
that is for you.
Okay.
So I think self-care, in my opinion, is something that's intentional,
Okay.
right? And it doesn't have to be grand, like I'm going to the spa. It can be like a glass of wine, or I'm gonna eat this ice cream, or
Yes,
whatever.
ice
But it's like I decided that I want to do this.
Yeah.
This makes me happy, and I'm gonna do it, and hopefully do it uninterrupted.
Yeah.
But there's so many levels to self-care, and it really can be anything.
Yeah. And I feel like that's important, especially for us Black women, right? But then adding an extra layer of like mothers, right? Who really probably can't have that full uninterrupted time, but finding moments to really kind of, I don't want to say isolate yourself, but taking that time to really do something for you, I think is really important for moms as well, and working women too, because we have essential workers who unfortunately haven't been able to have days off like they probably normally would, and things like that. So I feel like it's important for you guys also to kind of take 5 minutes, or 10 if you have it, really to kind of dedicate that to yourselves and really be intentional about that, because I feel like in the long run that helps us be better women, better friends, better mothers, better wives, better workers even, because I also feel like with working from home, that's a whole nother element.
Yeah.
And it's a whole, and I feel like you have that that sense of like guilt for maybe not being all, or like bringing your all, or being 1,000% like you would be if you were in the office,
Right.
and then also on the flip side, working too much because
Yes.
now you don't have anywhere to go,
Right.
so like 4:30, peace out, I'm gone because I got to get on this 405 or whatever the
Right.
case may be. But now I'm sitting in my living room and I don't have anything to do
Right.
after, so I can work until 5:30. I
Right.
could, finish this one last thing that then turns into 5 other last things.
Right.
So I feel like that's something too to hold on to when it comes to self-care, and then also just being intentional with turning the computer off. Turning your brain off, disconnecting. And I feel for me, sometimes my daily self-care is taking a lunch.
Yeah. Oh my God. Okay. So, since we've been in the pandemic, right? The main thing that I've seen, like, people are experiencing depression for the first time, increased anxiety and things like that. And, as much as compartmentalizing it is like a defense mechanism that we do sometimes to avoid certain things, but there is on some level that it can work, right? So when you talk about going to work, it's like, whatever was going on at home, I'm pulling up to my job.
Yeah.
I'm going to do my best to focus on my job.
Right.
Right. When I clock out at 4:30, 5 o'clock, I'm on the freeway. I'm present on the freeway.
Yes.
I'm leaving that, and then I get back home, I deal with home, I'm not dealing with work, and then I go to the gym, and then I go hang out with friends, and da-da-da-da. So now you don't have that. You are literally living where you work and working where you live, socializing where you work and where you live. And it's really easy to just sit in front of the computer and eat your lunch. And you're like, why am I hungry again? Because I didn't really take in the lunch, or you find yourself rushing, right? It's like, now 30 minutes is not a long time.
No,
but you're also at home,
right?
Like, you can chew a little bit longer. You don't have to rush to walk back to the office,
Yes.
So I think setting those boundaries with yourself with yourself, people around you, your employer if you can. You actually can. Your employer if you feel comfortable.
Yes.
And so that's important because things start to overlap, and that's when it gets overwhelming.
Yeah.
Because you're like, ugh, now you got the computer in the bed. Listen, don't feel bad, because I have been there.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, so I know that I need to be in this meeting at 8 o'clock, so I'm gonna open my eyes at 7:57. And I'm not turning on the camera.
Yes.
And I'm, because I probably still got the scarf on my head.
Uh-huh.
So, and I'm definitely in the bed.
Okay.
So, making sure I'm like, if I need to be here at 8 a.m. present, I need to wake up at 7:30.
Yes.
Even if that means I lay in the bed for 15 minutes, wishing I didn't have to get out of bed. But I'm going to wake up. I'm going to do some stretching in the morning, get my limbs loose.
Yes.
Maybe have some coffee.
Okay.
And then when I sit at my desk at 8 a.m., I'm there.
Yeah.
Camera still might not be on.
Yeah.
But I'm not in the bed. I'm more engaged in what I'm doing.
Yes.
So that is very important.
Yeah. I love that. So you guys, listen, I want to make sure that you, like I said, take away even just one little nugget, whatever that may be, whether that is stretching in the morning, whether that is, taking time to have a self-care moment, because we can say a day, but more realistically, it's a moment, to take a self-care moment to really understand your body as well. Because for me, stress, I feel it in my body, and stress is a number one killer of Black women. So we really have to be intentional with calling it out, with finding the truth about what it is and why we're feeling that way, why we're responding, the ways that we are. And I really feel like therapy is a great way to find out. It's not the end all be all. Don't mistake that. But it is a great way to really kind of get that understanding and understand who you are, why you're responding the way you're responding, what happened that made you feel maybe unsafe or uncomfortable, or whatever the case may be, so that you really are able to be present in the moment, and then you are able to show up as your best self. we at the Honey Hive want to encourage you and uplift you and celebrate you and be able to bring you avenues and resources and tools that you are able to use in your everyday life so that you're able to boldly step up, show yourself, and be unapologetically great. Because Black Girl Magic is real, but it starts from within. Mm-hmm. And therapy is a great way to start accessing your Black Girl Magic. Mm-hmm. So I want to thank you, Jasmin, for being with us today. I really, again, took away some nuggets, like the writing down the steps piece. Like, that's something that I am committing to myself to start doing. We're at the end of the year, so of course we start getting our resolutions
right
and stuff together.
Can I say something?
Absolutely.
Okay, now resolutions are excellent.
Okay.
Right? Don't overwhelm yourself with resolutions. Mm-hmm. I feel like we have a tendency to do that.
Yeah.
It's like, like the new year, January 1st is here.
Yeah.
But everything else in your life is still continuing.
Yeah.
You're not starting a new job at the top of the year. You're not getting married at the top of the year. It's like, it's a new beginning of the year, but everything around you is still moving. Mm-hmm. So be realistic with your resolutions, if you want to call them that. Mm-hmm. Give yourself grace, right? Yeah. So don't say like, you know what, this year I'm going to lose 100 pounds.
Girl. How are you? Because last year I was going to be losing like 20 and
I lost 30.
Come on.
But I gained it back.
Okay. But see, it's like little things like that, right?
Yes.
So it's like, I had these goals and I did my best.
Yes.
And also a global health crisis.
Yes.
And that doesn't mean anything negative about me.
Yes.
I'm responding to my environment.
Yeah.
And so that's another piece of writing things down. Like, okay, you want to lose 30 pounds. Maybe just commit to like working out for 15, 30 minutes a day, right? And then those things will come.
Yes.
But it's, I haven't heard people say like new year, new me just yet. But it is.
Are we really gonna say that though? Because we said that in 2019 and then.
Right. Everybody said they had 2020 vision. I said, well then how come y'all ain't see it coming?
Okay. Because I didn't see it. But I get that. And I feel, again, especially with us women, right? Having grace for ourselves is so hard because we feel like we have to show up and be all for everybody, right? So having, like you said, not limiting the expectation or the resolution, but being realistic about it. And then also making sure that even if you don't really hit that, you still have a positive outlook on whatever it is that you did accomplish.
Right.
Yeah. So I feel that. So we won't call them resolutions, right? We won't call them, you can call them resolutions if you want to. That's your business, as Auntie Tab would say. Hey girl, that's one of my prayers. I'm gonna call them 2021 prayers, okay? Is to branch out and have some other guests. Tabitha Brown, if you see this, I love you. Anyway, so we're having a theme here at the Honey Hive, okay? So we've started you off with mental health wellness, and we've given you some tips. This is not going to be the last time that future Dr. Jasmin is here. Okay, put some respect on her name. All right. But next year we are going to be bringing you some fitness tips as well, and then also again, like I said, this is not going to be the last time that she's here. I have some big things planned for the Honey Hive, but I want to say thank you for being here. I appreciate you so much. I'm so proud of you.
Aww.
Yes, I'm so proud of you. Everything that you're doing, everything that you have accomplished, and all that you are getting ready to do, because I know that the best is yet to come. So thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, girl. Merry Christmas again to everybody. I hope that you enjoy your day. I really do appreciate you guys showing so much love to me and support. It honestly, I'm not gonna cry, but it is really really, really, really appreciated. And I love you all for just supporting. Make sure, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and also the notification bell so that you are notified when a new video is uploaded. Merry Christmas again, and welcome to the Honey Hive. Peace.